Have you ever hit rock bottom of hope, only to be swept back up with belated sweet words? Brace yourself, because in today's video, we're diving into the vulnerability bomb, the final dirty trick avoidant partners deploy the moment they realize you're starting to let them go. This isn't just another psychological pitfall. It's a calculated maneuver to reclaim emotional control precisely when their usual withdrawal tactics have failed you. For anyone who's weathered a dismissive relationship, the sudden wave of intimate revelations, heartfelt confessions, or grand future promises can feel like a sweet, numbing elixir that erases old wounds. But don't let yourself be swayed by fleeting emotions. In this video, we'll dissect the inner workings of the vulnerability bomb, why it's so effective, the specific red flags to watch for, and how you can shield yourself from this alluring yet manipulative tactic. From sharing childhood traumas and family dysfunctions to pledges of commitment and expressions of remorse, every move is painstakingly calculated to evoke empathy and dismantle the defenses you've built. Yet, is this sudden openness a sign of genuine change or merely a last-ditch effort to regain control? Hit subscribe and ring the notification bell right now so you won't miss any of our deep dive analyses. Stay until the end of the video, and you'll arm yourself with practical tools to spot and resist the vulnerability bomb, strengthen your emotional boundaries, uphold your self-respect, and confidently pursue authentic connections. Seize the opportunity to equip yourself with this crucial psychological insight, because you deserve a relationship that's safe, balanced, and truly fulfilling. The concept of the vulnerability bomb is a figurative label that captures the final, most sophisticated maneuver an avoidant attached person deploys when they realize they are on the verge of losing someone significant and decide to reclaim emotional control through a tactical psychological move. Typically, avoidants erect emotional barriers, dodge deep levels of intimacy, and maintain a safe distance whenever feelings become too intense or demand openness. Yet in the moment they sense impending loss, they abruptly reverse course. From cold reticence, they pivot to sharing deep personal wounds, recounting childhood trauma, familial burdens, or past relationship scars. It doesn't stop at mere words. They lavish you with promises of a radiant shared future, assuring you they will never let you go, pledging to endure any mistake you make, and vowing to support every step of your journey ahead. Alongside these verbal commitments come unexpected gestures of warmth, tender gazes, heartfelt embraces, or passionate intimacy that had been previously withheld. Every aspect of this sudden shift is meticulously calculated to tap into your deep-seated craving for closeness, the very craving starved throughout a protracted push-pull cycle characterized by intermittent affection and emotional withdrawal. The objective of the vulnerability bomb is not simply to comfort or genuinely apologize. It is a strategic assault on your attachment system designed to resurrect hope and to plant doubt in your mind about whether this newfound devotion signals genuine transformation or is merely the avoidant's last resort before retreating once more. By presenting an emotionally charged performance, the avoidant bestows upon you a sense of exclusivity, making you feel privileged to receive this seemingly wholehearted sincerity. Their words resonate like a melody attuned to your innermost feelings, carrying the promise of no more loneliness, no more abandonment, and an end to the torment of doubt. Simultaneously, they exploit the scarcity principle. After enduring prolonged deprivation, each moment of openness appears as precious as a rare gem, powerful enough to eclipse memories of previous withdrawals. This psychological gambit operates on the principle of intermittent reinforcement. You receive such an unexpectedly valuable reward precisely when you have braced yourself for disappointment, heightening your elation and reinforcing a cycle of waiting and forgiveness. Ultimately, the vulnerability bomb serves as the avoidant's ultimate tool once all push-pull tactics, distance then near strategies, and half-hearted apologies have failed to retain your emotional investment. It represents the final flourish before they concede complete loss, an elaborately staged outpouring of emotion engineered to make you turn back, to hesitate between continued trust and the upholding of boundaries. Yet this grand display is often illusory the deeper you delve. the more ensnared you become in emotional entanglement. While they stand poised to retract their downpour of sweet words and retreat back into their comfort zone as soon as the threat subsides, recognizing the true nature and intent of this maneuver empowers you not only to identify it in time, but also to preserve your self-respect, shield your heart from further harm, and equip yourself with the inner strength to let go when necessary. It's the ultimate lesson in discerning genuine transformation from tactical vulnerability and maintaining unwavering boundaries that protect your well-being and ensure you pursue relationships built on lasting authenticity rather than fleeting emotional spectacle. Having firmly grasped the concept of the vulnerability bomb and understood its ultimate objective to unleash an emotional eruption geared toward drawing you back into the avoidance sphere of control, we now turn to why this tactic proves so irresistibly effective. First and foremost, the bomb exploits our deep-seated hunger for genuine connection. After enduring a protracted push-pull saga of emotional availability and withdrawal, anyone becomes vulnerable, craving that one moment of true understanding, forgiveness, and mutual heartbeat. When the avoidant unexpectedly seeds you with optimism through seeming sincerity, however fleeting, they are activating intermittent reinforcement, a behavioral psychology phenomenon recognized as one of the most addictive reward schedules. The uncertainty of when the next emotional payoff will arrive compels you to remain vigilant, waiting and ready to forgive every past offense in exchange for that brief taste of wholeness. Moreover, these sudden bursts of emotional intimacy function as tangible evidence that your patience has finally paid off. When they recount childhood trauma, familial fractures, or the heartbreaks of previous relationships, you instinctively empathize and lower the defensive walls you once erected. This empathy blurs your personal boundaries, leading you to believe that the person you love harbors a rich inner world worth waiting for. Then come the heartfelt apologies, the admission of past mistakes, and the vow of genuine transformation, often accompanied by grand future plans. From marriage proposals to moving in together or embarking on dream vacations, each promise, no matter how lofty, becomes an irresistible lure, planting the seed of hope that your bond will evolve into something stronger and more enduring. Yet words alone barely scratch the surface of the vulnerability bomb's potency. The avoidant leverages physical intimacy as an additional adhesive to cement the emotional bond. They may suddenly open up about sexual desires, become proactively affectionate in ways previously unimaginable, experiment with new expressions of passion, or cultivate an environment suffused with romance behaviors that once felt alien to them. When you find yourself immersed in those ecstatic moments of physical unity, past afflictions of loneliness fade away under the heady rush of shared pleasure. In the confluence of body and emotion, logic evaporates, leaving only love, craving, and a desperate wish to freeze that moment in time. All these tactics, from poignant accounts of personal suffering and remorseful apologies to visionary plans and surges of physical ardor, are intricately orchestrated to form the vulnerability bomb. Its success lies in delivering high-value emotional rewards while simultaneously striking at the very core of your heart and mind. Your heart quivers at shared vulnerability. Your mind leaps at the promise of reciprocation. At that moment, you question, has this person truly changed? Or is this merely a final gambit before they retreat once more? Ironically, it is precisely this doubt that drives you headlong into hoping for affirmation, blinds you to warning signs, and fuels your willingness to overlook them. This is precisely why the vulnerability bomb stands as the avoidant's ultimate and most fearsome ploy. It marries the allure of profound emotional rewards with persuasive proof of change, all refined through the intermittent reward mechanism. And just as you become enamored, eager, and convinced of their positivity, they are ready to pull back into their emotional stronghold, leaving you amidst lingering questions and deeper wounds than before. Breaking free from this cycle demands acute awareness, a steadfast guard against tempting emotional payoffs, an unwavering commitment to protecting your own emotional boundaries. Having examined why the vulnerability bomb is so effective and dissected its various manifestations from poignant confessions of past trauma and remorseful apologies to grand visions of the future and sudden surges of physical intimacy, us now turn to the critical element of timing. precisely when the avoidant reveals their bomb to achieve maximum psychological impact. This timing is far from random. It is carefully calibrated to align with unmistakable signals the avoidant vigilantly monitors. First and foremost, the bomb typically surfaces the moment you begin to let go, the moment you stop chasing, give yourself permission to explore other connections, date someone new, or simply radiate happiness and independence without them. During this phase, when they perceive you forging a life apart and growing increasingly self-reliant, they feel a genuine threat. If you continue moving forward, you may forget them entirely. Thus, they deploy the bomb right then and there to divert your attention, reignite hope, and make you question your own decision to move on. Secondly, avoidants often choose emotionally sensitive occasion-shared anniversaries, dating milestones or breakup anniversaries, romantic holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Mother's, Partner's Day, or periods when you are under significant stress at work, family, or with health moments when your emotional defenses are at their weakest. They are acutely aware of your schedule and emotional state, timing their interventions precisely when you are most vulnerable. Whether you recall sweet memories of your time together or feel exhausted by external pressures, they will suddenly offer an emotionally charged confession, a late-night text saying, "I miss you so much," a heartfelt call revealing their inner pain, or a promise to never let you go again. This blend of nostalgia, empathy, and hope functions like a potent emotional stimulant when you are at your most fragile. Next, there are moments when they lie in wait as you settle into your new life. When you post photos from a trip with new friends, attend your first date, post-breakup, or simply appear content on social media, clear signs that you have stepped outside their sphere of influence. At that precise instant, they know the bomb will jar you, prompting the question, is moving on truly the right choice when someone who once mattered to me is suddenly displaying unprecedented sincerity? The vulnerability bomb also strikes during stints of prolonged silence weeks or months when they have not reached out, leaving you acclimated to the lack of contact and accustomed to emptiness. Following this extended period of radio silence, the abrupt arrival of a long, heartfelt message, a nostalgic phone call, or even a handwritten letter filled with memories can be emotionally overwhelming. This is simply the intermittent reinforcement mechanism at its peak. You brace yourself for the worst, and when you unexpectedly receive a high-value emotional reward, your rational mind falters. Finally, the avoidance strategist often layers multiple timing tactics to intensify the impact. They might initiate with a vulnerable text the evening you announce a new relationship, follow up with Valentine's well wishes, accompanied by an emotional confession, and cap it off with an impromptu meeting invitation when you are grappling with professional challenges. This relentless succession of gestures not only rekindles hope, but also creates a sense of unpredictability that keeps you on edge, waiting for the next outreach. In sum, the vulnerability bomb detonates only when you believe you have safely moved on, when hope is dwindling, and you are most prone to vulnerability at significant points in your emotional calendar. Spotting this precise timing not only helps you remain vigilant against their masterful performance, but also empowers you to maintain firm boundaries, safeguard your emotional well-being, and continue your healing journey with clarity and strength. Moving beyond the peak impact of the vulnerability bomb, we observe a critical aspect that makes this tactic so ruthless: the impermanent nature of the vulnerability the avoidant displays. The moment they sense the threat of losing you has receded, even for an instant, the facade of sincerity quietly crumbles, and they revert to their familiar avoidance, patterned silence, withdrawal, and evasion of any deeper conversation. The consequence is that the victim is hurled into an even more painful cycle of disappointment, because you transition from confidently affirming your self-worth and moving on, only to turn back and re-enter the relationship, driven by the faint hope that this time will be different. That emotional roller coaster from the heights of connection back to the depths of detachment deepens your self-doubt. Were those moments of openness ever real, or merely a short-lived performance? And as your survival instincts flare, you become more confused than ever about what is genuine. To avoid falling into this harrowing emotional trap again, recognition and defense become indispensable. First, you must assess the motive behind the bomb's deployment. Is it a genuine fear of loss prompting an intrinsic desire to change, or simply a reflexive survival strategy triggered by the prospect of abandonment? Distinguishing between these motives enables you to discern whether change can be sustained over the long term or will fizzle out as a momentary emotional surge designed to manipulate. Next, do not hesitate to enforce firm boundaries. Require them to continue therapy or other personal growth endeavors, and to demonstrate their new behaviors consistently with tangible proof rather than empty promises. This approach not only holds them accountable, but also allows you to verify the durability of their change. If they are truly committed, they will persist. If not, you have clear justification to remain steadfast in your own decisions. Simultaneously, continue nurturing your personal life. Invest in your career, hobbies, and supportive friendships, because only with a stable emotional foundation can you resist being swept up in their strategic displays of vulnerability. Observe their behavior absent immediate relational rewards. Do they initiate contact, send messages, or seek interaction when there is no direct opportunity to reignite the relationship? This patient stance offers a clearer view of whether they genuinely wish to improve for themselves and for the relationship's future, or if they are merely awaiting the moment you reopen the door to deploy the next vulnerability bomb. Ultimately, equip yourself with the awareness that whenever an emotional outpouring burns out just as quickly as it flares, it is a warning signal, not a sign of authentic love. Maintaining firm boundaries and preserving your personal strength shields your self-respect and prevents you from being trapped in further cycles of pain. When you know precisely what you deserve and are prepared to walk away if it doesn't arise from genuine, sustained change, you truly seize the reins of your relational life, not as someone swayed by emotional bombs, but as a securely attached individual capable of forging connections that are both meaningful and enduring. Having firmly established and defended your emotional boundaries, rejecting the vulnerability bomb's attempts to inflict further harm, you now enter the most pivotal phase: recovery and growth. This is not merely about healing wounds from repeated disappointments. It is a journey of redefining your self-worth and crafting a roadmap for future relationships that are healthy and enduring. First and foremost, you must assert that you deserve a relationship grounded in long-term commitment and transparency, where love is not merely a frantic scramble born of fear of loss, but an ever-present source of security, respect, and mutual responsibility. A powerful starting point is asking yourself deliberate questions. What do I truly seek in a relationship? What am I willing to give? And what must I receive to continue trusting? By answering these questions, you lay the foundation for future relationship standards rather than settling for empty promises or strategic vulnerability displays from an avoidant partner. Simultaneously, you must learn to distinguish authentic openness from strategic vulnerability. Genuine openness springs from a sincere desire for connection and is consistently sustained regardless of whether the partnership is smooth or tumultuous. In contrast, strategic vulnerability manifests only in sudden bursts, precisely when the other person feels threatened, and vanishes as soon as their objective reigniting connection is achieved. When meeting someone new or considering reconciliation with an ex, observe the pace and rhythm of their emotional sharing. Do they engage with you consistently, not only in moments of crisis, but also on ordinary, uneventful days? Do they demonstrate a commitment to repairing and maintaining trust even when there is no imminent fear of loss? If the answers lean toward continuity, responsibility, and an absence of contrived scripting, that is a strong indicator of genuine intent. Your recovery process also demands holistic self-care, physical, mental, and social. Focus on activities that reinforce confidence and generate positive energy, from maintaining regular exercise, meditation, or yoga routines to cultivating creative hobbies and participating in clubs or community events. These pursuits fortify your self-esteem and expand your support net. When your life is rich and full, it becomes far more difficult for anyone to exploit emotional voids with cunning psychological tactics. You also internalize a vital truth. Your happiness and worth do not hinge solely on another person, but emerge from your actions and mindset. Throughout this journey, sharing your experiences with trusted friends or a mental health professional is invaluable. External perspectives can illuminate blind spots in your self-healing process, helping you avoid impulsive decisions and reinforcing your resolve to maintain healthy boundaries. When your heart becomes open yet discerning enough to choose who enters your life, you draw closer to forging relationships marked by depth and accountability. Ultimately, growth transcends the mere act of not letting history repeat itself. It embodies the capacity to understand and forgive your past, acknowledging that you once faltered in guarding your boundaries, that you succumbed to false hopes, yet refusing to let those mistakes define who you are today. By extending self-forgiveness and gleaning lessons from each misstep, you transform your scars into a wellspring of strength, maintaining the fortitude to protect yourself while nurturing the softness required to welcome true love. When you master the balance between self-preservation and willingness to connect, you become securely attached, generous without losing yourself, receptive without dependence, and prepared to release what no longer serves either party. In that moment, you not only achieve full recovery from the vulnerability bomb, but emerge as a confident, complete individual ready to embrace a relationship founded on equality, durability, and genuine affection. Ultimately, the vulnerability bomb serves as a powerful reminder of how sophisticated psychological tactics can lure us back into unhealthy relationships. By grasping its blueprint from definition and efficacy to timing, impermanence, and consequences, you learn to spot the telltale signs when an emotional performance is merely a final gambit before withdrawal. Moreover, the journey of recovery and growth offers you the chance to set a new standard, a relationship built on ongoing authenticity, commitment, and transparency rather than short-lived emotional manipulation. Now, equipped with knowledge, firm boundaries, and nurtured self-worth, you fully command your emotional path. Step forward with confidence, for you deserve a love that is safe, equitable, and profound, not born of fear of loss, but driven by the desire to share, grow, and thrive together.